Okay, it's called 想念, which means to remember someone in Chinese. 想念. In her absence, we can see him struggle to fill up the gap. The first year isn't easy, not when you can see the aftermath of loss and mourning evident in dusty corners. A miniature portrait sits humbly on the altar, quietly accompanying the serene deity. It is the newest addition in the house and boasts a sleek, gilded frame, stark in its newborn glory against the backdrop of aged nostalgia. The walls seem to have shrunk in on him, shrouding his world in a hazy mist. However, more pockets of space have popped up, much like a void. The apartment is barer than I remembered, the stalactites flourishing, while the wallpaper peels and fades, rapidly molting in this era of change. The only remainder of her is her absence. Upon seeing us, he grins a toothless smile, rich with faint optimism, denial lingering in those glassy brown eyes. He carries the weight of two people, embodying her vivacity with arthritis-heavy fingers, and supports himself on two failing joints. After exchanging colloquial greetings in a dialect, he waddles into the kitchen, disappearing behind the beaded partition. Squinting past the gently swaying partition, you can see his slightly distorted figure. When he turns, hunched over, you can see the mellowed shell of a patriarch, softened by mortality. Loneliness haunts him like a parasite. I look to the altar instead. Freshly burned incense clings to my nostrils, desperate to be remembered. Fresh chrysanthemum beam brightly at me, a vivid assault in an attempt to restore any semblance of normalcy. The saturated picture captures my attention instead. Captured at the second of perfect candidacy, her buck-tooth smile is all at once radiant and youthful, in open defiance of sanguine skin and numerous wrinkles. The glass has been so fervently polished that I can make out my own reflection. I stay that way for a while, watching her while she watches me back. The beaded partition sways again, and he emerges with 3 porcelain bowls. We scramble to help him, chiding him for not asking for help. Miswa, served in 3 chipped porcelain bowls, are complemented by clumsily peeled chicken eggs, their shiny pockmarked heads cheekily bobbing in the broth. He pulls out a rickety stool, a singular arm propped up on the table, watching us eat. It definitely tastes different, but we slurp it up all the same. I know he tried to follow a recipe, as the broth still contains its key components, but that domestic flair, that one half step away from culinary perfection, is all at once jarring and exigent. Still, we devour it all down, in tribute to the empty seat beside him, where she would have sat, her witty remarks earning a chorus of chuckles from us as a hand rests on his knee, silently comforting her more introverted half. This time, the clinking of porcelain against porcelain mimics conversation, interrupted by the occasional awkward anecdote. The faded blue dragon painted on the bottom of the bowl stares back, both imperial and forgotten. They collect the empty bowls, disappearing back into the kitchen. He doesn't stop them, his patriarchal pride whittled down into an unspoken helplessness. I glimpse into the kitchen before the partition falls, noting the haphazardly stacked instant noodles, oats and biscuits in a musty corner. I wonder if a colony of ants have formed, wonder if they multiply exponentially to the point he shares meals with them instead. He shuffles over to the bedroom. I dutifully follow. A sepia-tinted twilight begins to seep through the half-drawn curtains, illuminating dancing specks of dust, highlighting cobwebs in blind spots. Her vanity is completely empty, even the plush chair gone. Instead, their large wedding photo replaces the mismatched variety of cosmetics. Frozen in time, the 65-year-old monochrome portrait is awash with tender emotions. His jawline is far more chiseled, balancing his lean frame, hair vigorously parted with heaps of hairspray. Offering a blank stare and a tight-lipped smile, his shoulders are tense with the weight of an entire bloodline. Her hair is permed but tame, her face chubbier but healthy, offering a bright-eyed look and a signature buck-toothed grin. She intertwines his hands firmly with hers, sealing the lifelong pact of alleviating that burden. He sits on his side of the perfectly made bed, a lopsided half-grin still plastered on his face as he absent-mindedly rubs idle fingers over his joints as though working to ease that phantom pain. Beyond his split, slowly crumbling memory, the varied collection of intimacy rebels passionately against dementia. Silence envelops both of us for a while, the last ray of sunlight slipping away. Words form, but quickly melt away for fear of striking a nerve. Language has failed me again, chewing me up and spitting me out, a byproduct of limited textbook knowledge. I sound out the consonants in my head again, my mouth mimicking the syllables before I dare venture with the wrong pronunciation. 想念他吗? I ask, and I am almost worried that my colonized tongue will lapse beyond his understanding. But he understands, perhaps barely. His raspy voice is hollow, a delayed bereavement of sorts. 想念? He chuckles, a slight wheeze, as though mocking the redundancy of the question. Sighing, a wistful look creeps into his shadowed eyes. 当你失去你命中唯一的红颜知己，你只能在回忆里拼命地追忆。Meaning, once you lose your soulmate, you can only desperately chase after lost sentiments in your memory.